Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Onos and today I'm going to review Hellpoint. Honestly guys, I'm surprised. I expected it to be decent, otherwise I wouldn't have put it on a channel in the first place, but I honestly didn't think it would be this good. I'll break down the review into segments. We'll talk about the combat and weapons, the areas in game I've experienced already, the gameplay mechanics and some of the bosses I've fought without any spoilers. Then we'll talk about the graphics, audio and atmosphere, and I'll wrap it up with some critiques and a score, and a recommendation to anyone considering the game. Bear in mind any comments I'm making here are my own opinion only. Okay, so the combat. Combat is very Souls-like, slow-paced, deliberate and precise. If you get yourself surrounded, there is no amount of button mashing you can do to get you out of trouble. You can't roll or dodge through enemies, so if you're trapped, that's it, you're most likely going to die. If you do die, then you can go back and pick up your axioms, but you'll most likely bump into a ghost of yourself along the way. They're hunting for you and extremely aggressive. They will aggro onto you from quite a distance, and the fight feels more like something from PvP than any regular enemy. I suppose I don't need to spell it out, but the game is pretty challenging. Soul veterans will probably feel right at home with this game. Your healing ability and one of the energy bars will charge up based on melee damage inflicted to enemies, which makes you want to be more aggressive to keep things moving. If you run out of heals, you can still progress if you're careful and earn yourself more healing injections along the way. You have something called an Omnicube, which is like a toolbox you can collect extra tools for to help you with your gameplay. Things like porting back to the last rift you visited or a flashlight. One thing I've noticed and I like is that the enemies can damage each other. If one of the bigger enemies is swinging his weapon around, he can quite easily take out some of the smaller enemies for you. This can lead to a strategic way of fighting and gives you the opportunity to get yourself out of the scrape if you're smart. The weapons are really interesting. Basic movesets are varied on the whole, but you will find different weapons which have the same basic moveset. However, some of the weapons you find are able to level up as you use them, and present you with a host of different bonuses or a special attack you can do. This is a fantastic way to differentiate the weapons, and really personalise your playstyle and combat preference. Each weapon has the ability to level up so that it can be augmented with items you find in the world, but only some of the weapons can gain special moves. There is crafting in the game and you can find patterns for weapons and shields out in the world. I assume there will be armor sets too, but I have yet to find any of those myself. The crafting system is simple enough to understand once you find the area to do it, but complex enough so that you will need to go hunting for the materials you want. I've also noticed that you can pick up various weapons and shields, but then craft an upgraded or improved version, I assume for later in the game. Now the real thing that got me about this game was the level of detail in the level design. You can find a boss really easily in the areas of the game I've played, but there is so much more. Jumping puzzles and mysteries. I've found armor sets and unique weapons from my exploration. I found items that can allow me to increase the difficulty or even reduce it if I wanted to, which of course I don't. The area design is mind-boggling. The producers said that you could potentially finish the game in 20 hours if you bypass the exploration, but honestly I've spent more than that now in the first 4 areas of the game I've visited, and I still don't feel like I've found everything there is to find. Added to that is the real-time element. At certain points in real time, shown in the top left and based on where the space station is in relation to the black hole, the enemies will become more difficult to beat or more numerous. There may also be special challenges to face at certain times of day. Again, these are optional, but if you can beat them, there is always a juicy reward waiting for you. The boss fights are challenging as you might expect. I've beaten a few of them, but none of them are easy. Having learnt the mechanics for those fights, I feel I'd have an easier time with them on a second playthrough, but it would still definitely be a challenge. Strangely though, I haven't felt any major frustration with boss fights. The mechanics seem fair, if that makes sense. Any deaths I take are because of me, not because of some ridiculous reason or something that can't be avoided. The audio is brilliant, atmospheric and perfectly in tune with the game. You can hear things off in the distance at all times which keep you on edge. This is perfect for the feel of the game. At certain times you'll be able to see the space station you're on shake just a little, reminding you that you're on a station orbiting a black hole. It's a subtle reminder that you're far from safe at any time. I do have some criticisms though. Graphics wise, the game is not perfect. The in-game graphics are good. It doesn't feel quite as polished as some other more recent titles, but the graphics are good. The cutscene graphics, such as the introductions to the game, do look a little dated though. The in-game menus also look a little old school, but this doesn't feel out of place and may in fact be deliberate. There is no character design. The only personalisation you can do is to name your spawn. There is no height, weight, facial features or anything like that. That said, the character design is largely unimportant. You'll be getting armour soon and there seems to be plenty of options and flexibility. The character will feel like your own after you've spent some time in game. Sometimes during a fight you will take damage and there doesn't seem to be a huge amount of feedback. I noticed this can happen in boss fights. You'll get hit and you won't realise because either the animation doesn't tell you or there is no audio feedback for you taking a hit. I feel like this could be improved, but again, it isn't game breaking by any means. My only other criticism is to say that on occasion there is the odd frame rate drop. Now bear in mind I'm using a beat up old PS4. I don't have a PS4 Pro, so I suspect the performance will be better for some of you. The frame rate drops don't ruin the gameplay experience though. I feel that it's important that I tell you they exist, but personally I would not let that put you off the game. It certainly hasn't put me off. I haven't experienced co-op or PvP in the game yet, so I really can't comment on those things. It's possible there will be some day one issues with servers etc. I wouldn't be surprised if there are some issues which need to be resolved. There often are when a game launches and people try to group up. In terms of a score based on my own experience in playing solo, I've given this an 8.6 based on averages from a simple chart I made. I had to mark Hellpoint down in some places based on the criticisms, but while those things could be improved to give a slightly better experience, I would still say the game is worth consideration. The gameplay, the feel of the game, the atmosphere, the ingenious level design, the maddening secrets and the originality of the weapons, and the real-time element are all fantastic. The potential I can see for character builds once I've learnt everything there is to know is enticing. I can't wait until I've uncovered all the options and I can start to make some informed decisions around builds. Personally, I've loved my time in the game and I will definitely be sinking a lot more time into this one to uncover all the things I've missed, and that's before I move on to the next zone. My final thoughts are that if you enjoy Dark Souls, I genuinely think you will love this game, despite the slight imperfections. I've released a no spoilers starter tips video already and I'll link that at the end, and I'll very soon be releasing some early game weapon videos to help you get off to a good start with your playthrough in the early game. I hope you found this useful. Leave me a like and comment if you don't mind, sub if you're new, and I'll wrap it up here. Thank you for watching, take care, stay safe, bye bye now.